All right, everyone, welcome to the 187 District Court. These are the rules of the 187 District Court. 1, to all of the inmates, you are to keep yourself on mute until I ask you to unmute yourself. Number 2, do not use the chat box. If you use the chat box, you will be sent back to your cell, and we will see you at another date and time. Do not try to pick anyone up for a date. This is not the Bachelorette. It is not the Bachelor. That is not what we are here for. If you do that, then you will be sent back to your cell and we'll take your case up at a later date. To everyone else who's here, you are in the 187 District Court. Physically, you may be at your house, but you're in a courtroom. You will not wear hats. You will not wear caps. And if you are not behaving appropriately, you will be required to appear in court. So I don't want to see you working on a construction site, driving to work, cooking at your house, or any of that. If that happens, your case will not be heard today. It will be heard either on Wednesday or Thursday, and you will be brought into court and you will have to appear in court. You are not to lie down in your beds. If you do, then you will be required to appear in court. I'm going to open up breakout rooms. When I open the breakout rooms, it's going to invite everyone to appear in a breakout room. Do not go to a breakout room unless I specifically call your name and send you to a breakout room. To all the attorneys here, I'm going to call your name. That's the order you will appear in. If for any reason you want to go to another court because you see your name is a certain place on the list, you're more than welcome to do that. However, if your name is called and you're not here, then you will go to the end of the line. I'm going to call the attorney's name. If you are here, let me know. If I've missed a name, let me know.
Okay.
The first one is going to be Wendy McClellan.
Present, Your Honor.
Ron Ross.
I'm here, Judge. I will need a breakout room with my client.
Thank you. Amir Mamori.
Morning, Judge. Judge, I'm here on Heidi as Caredero for PTD application.
All right. Kenneth Baker.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm present. My client, I just had contact with him, is attempting to log in. He should be here very soon.
Brian Kimbrough.
Present, Your Honor. My client should be logging in.
Justin Fox.
Judge, I'm here on a motion to set bond.
Okay. Is there any other attorney whose name I've missed?
Yes, Judge. Jerome White for Tariq Ellington.
Okay. Any other attorney whose name I've missed?
Yes, Judge. Thomas Beck for Victor Miranda. I believe he's an inmate.
Thomas Beck.
Yes, Thomas Beck.
Okay. Who else?
Christopher Castro for Robert Rosas.
All right. Anyone else that I've missed? Okay. All right. The first person up is Wendy McClellan. Ms. McClellan, who do you have?
I'm here on Juan Estrada and Cruz Munoz. They're both in custody, and they're both going to be pleas this morning.
All right. If you could put in the chat box to Norma Ferguson, she's listed as coordinator. Ferguson, coordinator. If you'll put into the chat box what your plea agreement is, so she'll know what paperwork to get with you. And if you'll tell me which client would you like to see first?
And I let Norma know in advance, since all the paperwork's done. I just need to review it with my clients, of course.
Okay.
I'll meet with Cruz Munoz.
All right. Let me see if Cruz Munoz is here. Just one moment. Okay. Munoz is not online yet,
Okay.
but Estrada is.
Okay, that's great.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Estrada, what is Estrada's first name, please?
Juan.
Are you Juan Estrada? Raise your hand if you're Juan Estrada. All right, thank you. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1 with your attorney.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, the next person up is Ron Ross.
I have David Thatcher. I'd like to talk to him in a breakout room.
All right, is your client in custody?
He is.
Let me see if we have him. Norma, could you have a deputy help Mr. Estrada? And he also needs to mute. And let him know you need to go to breakout room number 1. All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 2, Ross.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Thatcher, I'm sending you to breakout room number 2. Your attorney will meet you there. Amir, who do you have?
Judge, good morning. I have Heidi Izquierdo, cause number 2020 CR 1216. Returned an application for PDD on February the 3rd, Judge.
All right, that case has been dismissed. They have everything.
Okay,
So it shows up as-
may I be excused, Judge?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome. All right, the next person is Jerome White.
Judge, I have Tariq Ellington. That's the MTR. I have spoken to Jordan already. We have an agreement to resolve this issue. I just need to speak to my client to see if he's done everything necessary in order to meet the offer that Jordan made with me.
All right, just one moment. Let me see if he's, Mr. Ellington, are you on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3 with your attorney.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, the person who's just logged in as Heidi Izquierdo. Where are you? Heidi Izquierdo. All right. All right, the next person up is Kenneth Baker.
Morning, Judge. I've got Mr. Zepeda, Juan Zepeda. It's a MTR family violence. I'd like to talk to the state if there's somebody available for them on that.
All right. Give me your client's name again, please.
Juan Zepeda, and he is, I just spoke to him, hung up. He's at work, had a problem with his phone. He's got that resolved. I gave him the link, so hopefully he'll be here.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 4 and an attorney will meet you there.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Next person up is Brian Kimbrough.
Good morning, Your Honor. I have Juan M. Garcia. It's a violation report. Issue is installing the ignition interlock. He doesn't have a car, so I have an affidavit of non-ownership, which I emailed this morning over to Norma, and I can email it to the court. I don't know which email you want me to use.
You'll need to email that to pretrial services. And so he will be on an in-home device.
Okay.
And I give the defendant a chance to choose which in-home device they want to be on because I know it is expensive.
Okay. Any chance you might consider waiving the fee on that?
It's a third-party contract, so I'm not allowed to waive fees. If I waive fees, they still will charge him fees. But what he can try to do is be placed on a waiting list on their indigent program.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Your Honor. So are we excused if I get that over to pretrial this morning?
Just one moment. Where is your client? Mr. Garcia? Mr. Garcia, I need you to unmute yourself, please. All right, can you hear me?
I think his audio is off.
Okay, this is what needs to be done with your client, Mr. Kimbrough. He provides the affidavit of non-driving to pretrial services. The number there, Mr. Kimbrough, is 335 8976. His officer is Taylor Vaughn. And the fax number there is 335-8981. So it'll be provide affidavit of non-driving, then in-home device. And I'll put on here review for indigent status.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, can you see your chat before you let him go, please?
Sure. All right, thank you. Thank you, Norma.
Okay.
And that needs to be completed today. So Mr. Garcia, you need to get that done today. Do you understand? Just give me a thumbs up if you understand. All right, if that's not done today, a warrant is going to be issued for your arrest. I cannot have someone who's charged with DWI who does not have any type of monitoring system. Do you understand? Thumbs up if you do. All right, then you and your client are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Justin Fox.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here on a motion to set bond for Jose Ruvalcaba. He has an MTR on your court. My client's currently in Piedras Negras, Mexico, Judge. The concern I had and the reason I'm here before you is because if he were to cross back, he'd more than likely be stopped by Border Patrol. They'd see that he has a warrant. And my experience just over the last year or so with clients with issues like this, they're usually stopped, detained in the county where the checkpoint is. And usually it's been about a month that they've had to sit there before they're transferred to Bexar County. So I was just wondering if you would consider setting a bond, or maybe a week. And if he doesn't appear, I think we'd be able to work out this MTR very quickly once he's here.
I will send you to a breakout room and the state will confer with you.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll send you to breakout room number 5. Ron, you're back?
I am, Judge. I need to talk to Jordan Brown.
All right. Jordan, if you could go to breakout room number 3, please. All right, the next person up is Thomas Beck.
Yes, Judge, I'm here for Victor Miranda. The computer says he's an inmate.
Do you know if it's criminal trial division?
It's less than a gram case and felony shoplifting, something about a bag of potato chips.
All right, were they Lays? Allegedly?
I hope so.
All right.
I don't like veg.
I'll send you to breakout room number 6.
Is he here?
We will find out.
All
But
right.
if you'll go to 6.
I'll go to 6 and hang out.
Thank you. Christopher Castro.
Yes, Judge, I'm here on Roberto Rosas. It's a motion for early termination of probation.
How do you spell the last name?
Roberto Rosas, R-O-S-A-S.
All right, and was this criminal trial division?
Judge, excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
The termination order was signed on February 25th on that particular case.
Okay, so your client's already been terminated.
Okay. He's present in the courtroom. So I'll give him a call and let him know. Are we dismissed?
All right, and you said you're, yes, you are dismissed. To the courtroom, could you let the defendant, Mr. Roberto Rosas, know that his early termination was approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. All right, David Woodard.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. You're excused.
Morning, Judge. I'm reviewing the PSI right now, and when I'm done, I'll come back on.
All right, and who's your client?
It's on Jacob Brown.
All right. Joanne De Hoyos.
Good morning, Your Honor. I received a link last night for Myra Santos. I have no idea. I don't have an appointment letter or anything. So can you even give me a cause number? I checked online and there's a night mag, but Oscar Hernandez is on that.
She has several cases.
Okay, well, I guess some must be off bond because I didn't see anything but that on the,
All
you know
right,
how
she-
sometimes they hide that on bear.org if there's a warrant?
I'm not sure. She has CM number 068976 and night mag number 600137.
That's Oscar Hernandez according to bear.org.
Okay, the CM number, that's a criminal mischief, 2,500 to 30,000.
And it was today's doc. I don't even have an
Yes.
appointment, Your Honor. Am I listed on that? I chatted with
Norma, could you check with that? I'm going to send, Joanne, I'll send you to a breakout room, number 7. And
Thank
the
you.
coordinator will meet you there.
Thanks. Have a nice day, Your Honor.
All right, you too, thank you. Thomas Hilly.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. I need to go into a breakout room, please.
Who is your client?
Mr. Landry, he's in jail.
And what is the
It's
charge?
It may be family violence because he beat up the wife's new boyfriend and the pregnant, like.
All right,
girlfriend.
I'll send you to breakout room number 8.
Thank you, Your Honor.
A prosecutor will meet you there.
Thank you.
All right, Jonathan Perez.
Judge, I didn't get a link to go to the
Right here,
breakout.
Judge.
Norma, you're listed as a co-host. You're not able to move around?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 7. All right, Jonathan Perez, I'm gonna need to see you in a breakout room.
You got it,
I can
Judge.
see you in breakout room number 9.
Okay.
Thank you, I'll send you there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And David Martin, if I could see you in 9, please. And Marcus Sanders, if I could see you in 9. Everyone, I will be right back. Just give me a moment. All right, Jonathan Perez, who do you have?
I have Brian Pinkney, Your Honor.
And is that a family violence or is it criminal trial division?
No, criminal trial division, Judge. It's an ag robbery.
All right. I'll send you to breakout room number 9 and a prosecutor will meet you there. Well,
Okay.
actually, you already signed a 9, so you can just go
Perfect.
back to number 9.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. All right, is there any attorney's name that has not been called that is recently logged in? All right, anyone back from the breakout room?
Yes, Judge. Jerome White for Tariq Ellington. We just need a continuance in order to comply with the agreement that Mr. Jordan had given to us. He's going to have to make some donations and he needs a little bit more time.
When is this going to be done?
I would suspect that he probably needs about 2 pay periods. So if you can, we can have 30 days.
State? How do you feel about a 30-day reset?
Is there anyone? Can anyone answer?
It was Jordan.
I feel great.
It was with Jordan.
Judge. I don't think we'd have an objection to it.
All right, Norma, are you back here in the main room? All right, on Mr. Tariq Ellington,
Yes, ma'am.
set this for a contested hearing in 30 days. And so, Mr. White, something will be happening to this case within 30 days. Either it's going to be a contested hearing or plea or true or whatever, but it will be resolved in 30 days.
Okay, Judge. And I probably need to let him know what's going on. So once we have the reset, can we have another breakout room so I can let him know what this entails?
Yes. Okay. All right, Norma, what date are we coming back for contested?
March 31st.
All right, March 31st.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Just one moment. All right, and your client will need to appear in person. If whatever you're working out with the state has not been worked out, he needs to appear in court in person.
Okay.
And of course, if you worked out something before then just let the court know.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Ellington, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4. Your
Okay.
attorney will meet you there and then you will be excused.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Everyone, just give me a moment, please. Does anybody see what page Mr. Ellington is on?
Page 27.
All right, thank you.
What's up? What's up, bro?
Okay.
What's up?
Do you know if is Jordan here?
Jordan's here and Chris.
All right, anyone else back from the breakout room?
Yeah, I am, Judge.
Yes.
And I need to talk to my client once again, David Thatcher. We were in breakout 2. I don't know if he's still there.
Mr. Thatcher is still in breakout room number 2. I'll send you to 2.
Yes, ma'am.
And everyone, just give me one moment to check my email for any paperwork. All right. David Woodard, you're back.
Judge, me and Rebecca are kind of having technical difficulties of me getting the PSI. She has tried to email it to me, but I have not received it yet.
Let me see if maybe I can do it. Who is your client?
It's on Jacob Brown.
Okay, I don't have that PSI yet either. So just give us a moment. All right, Kenneth Baker.
Yes, Judge, I'm back from conferring with the state. I've got an offer. I was just wondering if the court can tell if my client is in the waiting room yet.
Is there Juan Zapata here? Juan Zapata? All right, if you want to return back at 10:30, I give everyone till 10:30 to show.
Certainly, Judge. I've got contacted with him. I'll get him here somehow. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Justin Fox?
Yes, Judge, I'm back from the breakout room. We weren't able to come to an agreement. So I guess we might have to come before you on the issue of recalling the warrant and setting a bond.
All right, so here's the thing. With regards to that, I require a person to appear before me before I will set a bond or recall a warrant. And the fact that you say he's in Mexico?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's a problem. The fact that he's in Mexico and not here.
Yes, Judge. It can possibly be arranged that he can appear via Zoom sometime later this week.
I mean, but he's still outside our jurisdiction. That's the problem.
Yes, Your Honor. The thing here is that he is trying to come back and resolve this case. You know, if he could come back, of course, but he would be waiting probably around 30 days in another county in their jail, incurring expenses for that county and then having to be transferred. So it might be 40 odd days before we're able to resolve an MTR that might be able to get resolved if a warrant was temporarily lifted and then he could come in, we can resolve.
Okay, here's my question. Why is he in Mexico and not in the United States?
He was working over there, Your Honor, and it is my understanding that when he realized that he had the warrant, I guess he was scared of returning and being stuck out of county was one issue. And then I guess the issue of the MTR. He's been over there for almost a year, I believe now. So he's wanting to come back and face the issues that are before him.
Just for your information, Judge, the warrant was issued in October and he has yet to present himself, and his MTR is for a new number 1.
Well, I will tell you this. Must I set a bond? Yes, because it's a deferred adjudication, but he needs to appear. I mean, that's where we are. He needs to appear. And I'm sorry that his life is going to be slightly complicated because he decided to go to Mexico. But that's where we are.
Will a Zoom appearance suffice, Your Honor?
I mean, these are things I will consider, but he's not before me.
Yes, Your Honor. Then I guess I would ask if maybe I can be recalled for maybe Friday, and I can have him appear via Zoom, or any other day that the court.
All right, talk to the coordinator. Will send an email to you and present whatever evidence you need presented to explain why he's in Mexico without permission. I don't know if he was given permission by probation to go to Mexico.
Yeah, I don't think he was, Your Honor. And just to correct anything that was said before, so this MTR is from August of 2019. So I know Alex had said it was last year, but I think it was the year before. So It's been about a year that he's been out of the country.
All right, yeah, those are issues. All right, thank you, Justin.
We'll take care of it, Judge.
All right. All right, Wendy, you're back.
Yes, I sent a chat to the clerk, Robert, to see if he can allow the deputy to share the screen so I can go over the paperwork for my client because he's having a hard time following along.
All right, it does show that the share is on my end. So just give us a moment. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else back from the breakout room?
Yes, Your Honor, I have conferred with the state, and I need more time, Your Honor, for the state to get more medical records, Your Honor. It's the first setting, and we don't know the extent of the injuries of the second victim, Your Honor.
State?
It was family violence.
All right, State.
Yeah, Judge, sorry. I'm trying to find an office to use right now because I got kicked out of the one I was using. There's medical records, potential serious bodily injury. I need to get the medical records which aren't in the file yet, or at least I'm not aware they're in the file, but I don't have access to the file right now. So it's the first setting, if you can get another reset, because there's 2 victims on it. One potentially had serious brain injury and the other was pregnant and had vaginal bleeding at the time of the assault. So I'm not sure what the status is on the baby.
All right, Norma, can you recall Kendrick Landry for 30 days, please?
Yes, ma'am.
So this concludes my business, Your Honor. Maybe excuse, please.
No, because you don't have the reset date.
Oh, I apologize for that. I don't know if the system reset. I apologize.
See, this goes back to men not being able to multitask people. He's trying to drive, which he shouldn't be doing, and be on Zoom. What date, Norma?
April 1st.
All right. Mr. Landry, we're going to bring you back on April 1st.
If I may say, I do believe the case with my baby's mother, that was closed. She even came up here and got it corrected, that I didn't put my hands on her.
Here's the thing. 1, I don't want to talk about the facts of your case.
Yes,
2,
ma'am.
what you're here for is a burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit assault. And it has not been dropped.
And Judge,
Number 3 is that on family violence cases,
Yes, ma'am.
the laws have changed. And usually complainants on family violence cases, when they do a affidavit of non-prosecution, that doesn't automatically mean a case is going to be dropped. And yes, Ms. Metzel.
It's a multi-count indictment, Judge. So the original case was brought in. So it's the assault pregnant person was closed out and added to the 1 cause number that's still active. So there's 3 counts on there.
Yes.
One of them being the assault pregnant person.
Yes, there are 3 counts, Mr. Landry. So we'll see you back on April 1st. All right, Norma, can you let them know that Mr. Landry can go back?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Thomas Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Judge, I got a report from pretrial services that Norma sent me. Apparently, Victor Miranda is not in custody unless you're telling me that he is, or maybe you see him.
Well, what I received from pretrial services is an application for a PR bond. Could the clerks or somebody check to see if Victor Miranda is in custody, please?
I'm here at the moment. Can you hear me?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm here. That's all.
Yes, he's in custody.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
in the orange suit. That's what I'm trying to figure it out. Like,
Can I go back to a breakout room then to talk to a prosecutor or my client? I'll talk to either one of them.
All right, well, just one moment. Let's, let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna send you, Thomas, I'll send you to breakout room number 5. And if a prosecutor could speak with Mr. Beck and number 5, please.
Mr. Beck.
All right, and Brian Pickney.
I'm here, Your Honor. That's
Yes.
my client, Judge. I'm just trying to get into a breakout room with them. I'm back.
All right, I'm gonna send, if you'll go back to breakout room number 9, and Mr. Pickney, I'm gonna send you to number 9.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Judge,
And
and
Mr. Miranda, you are not going to a breakout room yet. Your attorney is with the state.
Judge,
Rebecca?
I sent you the PSI, so I don't know if you can try sending it to Mr. Woodward.
Okay. Yes, I received it.
Judge, I sent it already, so either our emails aren't working or his isn't if he hasn't gotten it.
Judge, I have it. I'm reviewing it right now.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
All
Jordan.
right. Any other attorney that's ready? All right, Zoom user, who is your client?
Good morning, Judge. I apologize. My name is Travis Kettner. I represent Isaiah Alcaraz, and I think I got my Zoom ID changed properly.
Yes.
So yes, I do represent Mr. Alcaraz, and I was going to talk to the prosecutor. We have a plea offer, and I'm going to recommend to my client that he accept it. So I just was going to talk to the prosecutor briefly and see about organizing that, I guess.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 3. It's family violence. If someone could meet Mr. Kettner in breakout room number 3, please.
I'll confer, Judge.
Ron Ross, you're back.
I am, Judge. I have tried to negotiate and try to come to a resolution today, been unable to do so. I will remind you that last time we were in court, I have filed a motion to withdraw as counsel. My client believes that I judge him guilty, and therefore he doesn't want me to be his lawyer.
You're frozen. You froze. You said you filed a motion to withdraw, and
we started a hearing last week. You told him, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to hire a lawyer.
yes.
And I don't think he's hired a lawyer. So we're going to need to go ahead and go forward on the motion to withdraw. You know, I mean, I don't know whether you're going to do that or not, but we need to go forward on that motion if we can.
All right.
And if you don't, then you know, as I'll do my job as a competent lawyer. I'll do my job. If you don't.
All right, the inmate isn't here.
Yeah, he's here. He was in room number 2 a while ago. David Thatcher.
Ron
Ross, David Thatcher. You're not getting me mixed up with Ross Rodriguez, are you?
No, I'm not. Could you go back to the breakout room and tell your client to come back to the main room, please?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Thank you. You're in breakout room number 2, Mr. Ross.
That's right.
Judge, can you make inmate Estrada a co-host? Joey is going to help him fill out the paperwork because they can't do the share screen. He's asking if you can make him a co-host, and he's going to stand next to him so he can fill out the paperwork.
Who is the person?
Juan Estrada, he's an inmate. He's with Wendy. I don't know what room he's in.
All right, I'll find him. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I've made him a co-host. All right, Mr. Thatcher,
Yes, Your Honor.
could you unmute, please? I need you to unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you were told to have an attorney. And do you have an attorney?
Our number is 2.
No, Your Honor.
All right.
09.
If you didn't retain an attorney, then your attorney is Ron Ross.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, I will remind the court I have filed a motion to withdraw because Mr. Thatcher believes that I've judged him guilty, and he doesn't want me to represent him, and he doesn't really want to have an attorney-client relationship with me because he thinks that I think
She could tell you more about the case.
Okay. All right, we'll call the case. Who is the prosecutor on this?
Yes, sir.
I can
Do it, Judge.
Thank you. Brenna, you ready? Court is calling 2019 CR 9590, State of Texas versus David Thatcher. We're gonna have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Marcus Sanders.
for the defense.
Yeah, Ron Ross.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Judge.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ross, you filed a motion to withdraw in this cause. State, have you had a chance to review the defendant's?
That's what I need.
defense's
I
motion to
really
withdraw?
need, but there's been,
You say yes, Marcus?
Yes, we're aware of it, Judge.
yes.
All right, defense, court will hear your motion.
Judge, I was appointed about a year ago to represent Mr. Thatcher. We've been to court several times. In October, I thought we had a plea agreement. Mr. Thatcher did not want to take that plea agreement. He instead he said he no longer wants me to be his lawyer. He believes that I judge him as guilty, and he therefore does not believe that him and I can have an effective attorney-client relationship. And therefore, because he wants me off his case, I have filed this motion to withdraw. Let the court rule whether or not an effective attorney-client relationship can exist and whether I should continue on the case.
All right. Mr. Thatcher,
Yes, Your Honor.
the court gave you an opportunity to hire an attorney. And I ain't given you an opportunity to hire an attorney since January 28th. It is now March 1st. Have you hired an attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Can you afford to hire an attorney?
If I have a little bit more time, yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Then I cannot.
January.
Yeah, I have bonds for those.
Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All right. The motion to withdraw will be denied. Your attorney is Ron Ross. Brenda, we can go off the record. Mr. Thatcher, let me explain something to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm going to mute you because there's a lot of noise going on behind you. I've been a defense attorney. I've been a prosecutor. Your attorney, be it a hired an attorney or a court-appointed attorney, in this court, I require that that attorney receive an offer from the state. You can accept that offer or you can reject that offer. Your attorney cannot force the state to give you whatever it is you want. If you want a dismissal, your attorney cannot force the state to give a dismissal. If you want probation, your attorney cannot force the state to give you that. The only thing the attorney can do is get an offer from the state, which I require, present that offer to you. Once that offer is presented to you, you have one or two choices. One, you can accept it. Two, you can reject it. Or three, you can reject it and tell your attorney, I will not accept this, but I want to accept that. If you give your attorney another offer to tender to the state can say, no, we will not give him that. We will only offer what we previously offered before. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
So there you have it. So if your issue is that your attorney is not bringing you the offer you want, that is not his fault. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you are given a court-appointed attorney because you can't afford one. I don't know what is happening in society where people think, oh, I can't afford an attorney, so I get to choose whomever I want.
I work at a temp service, so I'll be
There
able to
used to
make
be a
the payment.
saying that beggars can't be choosers. It seems now that a lot of beggars want to be choosers, right? It's sort of like, I don't have any food. Okay, let me give you a meal, and your meal is fish and broccoli. Well, you know what? I can't afford a meal, but I'm not eating your fish and broccoli. I want lobster and steak. That's not the way it works. You understand? Now, do you need to confer with your attorney?
Unless Mr. Thatcher wants to talk to me, I think we've done our talking.
All right.
I am ready to proceed for a trial setting.
All right. Mr. Thatcher, unmute yourself, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need to talk with your attorney anymore?
Yes, ma'am.
That's only 25 days.
All right, Mr. Ross, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
And when I've concluded, unless I need to come back, I'll go ahead and leave the meeting.
Oh, no, come back to the main room with your attorney with your client so I can give you a date.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
All right, David, you ready?
0.
Yeah, Judge, can you put me in a breakout room with
719.
Jacob Brown?
All right, Mr. Brown,
Yes, ma'am, Your
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 6.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me.
Your attorney will meet you there.
And Judge, when you get a chance, can you send Isaiah Alcaraz to breakout room number 3?
I'm trying to find him. Is it Isaiah Escobedo Alcaraz? Who is Isaiah Alcaraz? Mr. Thatcher, you need to go to breakout room number 6. What are you doing? Look at the bottom of your screen. And I'm sorry, it's breakout room number 4. Look at the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. Do you see where it says breakout rooms? Norma, can you have a deputy place Mr. Thatcher in breakout room number 4, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Alcaraz, Laura, where did he need to go?
Breakout room number 3, Judge. Okay.
And Ross, your client is having difficulty moving to the room, so they're going to send him there now. A deputy will.
Yeah, okay, thank you, ma'am.
And Judge, actually, never mind.
All right, anyone else back from the breakout rooms? All right, he's in number 4 now, Ross.
Judge, can you give me admin or the breakout room privileges, please? I had signed off.
All right,
My
yes,
phone is glitchy.
I've just done it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, to the clerks in the back, you should have the information on Juan Estrada. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. And Wendy McClellan, if you could go back to breakout room number 1 and the clerks will swear your client in.
Okay.
All right, Ron Ross, you're back.
I am back. My client should be in here also.
Okay. He's still in breakout room number 4.
I told him to come back in.
All right, can you instruct him on coming back to this main room, please?
I will. He knows
Thank
he did it before, but I'll go tell him again.
All right, thank you. Anyone else back from the breakout room?
Just got back, Judge.
Yes.
I'm here on behalf of Mr. Pinckney, Judge. We're working on some of his cases. I talked with Marcus Sanders as well. I believe he's got a couple cases out of County Court 5 that I'm going to jump on, and we're going to try and see what we can do to resolve these issues. In the meantime, we're in the process of posting a bond for my client, Judge. I'm just asking for a regular reset, and hopefully we can resolve this thing.
All right, this is an old case.
I just jumped on, Judge, because of Saul's passing.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
All right, thank you. Norma,
Yes.
can you give them a 30-day reset for Mr. Pinckney?
April 1st.
All right, Mr. Pinckney, we'll come back on April 1st, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Okay, bye, guys. You can log off,
Bye-bye.
Mr. Pinckney.
All right. And Norma, you can let them know that Mr. Pinckney can go back.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, Norma, if you can have, there's Mr. Thatcher. Mr. Thatcher, we will set you for your jury trial. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And state is, I'm sorry, Mr. Ross, is there any outstanding discovery?
There is none, Judge.
All right, then we will schedule you for a jury trial. Mr. Ross, if there are any other motions you wish the court to hear, just let us know and Norma will set those.
That's fine. Should we come up to an agreement between now and then, we'll let you know. But yes.
There will be no further agreements that'll be accepted by the court. If he wants to enter a plea, it will have to be open to the court because his plea deadline has expired.
I understand that. I don't know if he understands that. Do you understand
Mr. Thatcher, do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. The only reason why, I know you ain't trying to hear it, miss, but
No, I'm always open to hear. I always tell people God gave us, or your higher power gave you 2 ears to listen more. So I will listen to what you wish to say. Yes.
they offered me 2 years, miss.
No. I do not want to hear what the offer was. What I'm telling you is your plea deadline date was October 12th, 2020. It expired. It is now March. This court will not accept any plea bargain agreements that are reached with the state. If you want to enter a plea, you will have to enter a plea open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. If there's nothing else, you will be scheduled for a jury trial.
Do you want to talk to me again, David, before we leave?
We already talked about everything, unless you could, I
you
ain't even been indicted.
No.
What, do you understand that there's not going to be any more agreements? Today was your last day, and this is actually 4 months past the deadline. This was your last day. And I did got the best I could get you today. And that's it. If you don't take something which you said you don't want to take, we're going to do a jury trial. If you decide you want to plead guilty at some point in time, the judge will decide the punishment. There'll be no more plea bargains. Do you understand that?
Yeah, he's in one. Oh, he was in one.
Yes.
If you want to swear him in, you can swear him in front of, yes.
Do you want to talk to me again, David?
Yes, sir. We already talked about it, sir. Thank you. That's good enough.
All right, then
Thank you.
you'll be scheduled for a jury trial, Mr. Thatcher, and we'll see you for your jury trial.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Norma, can you let them know that Mr. Thatcher can go back?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Estrada, if you, they're going to swear you in. Can you unmute for me, please? All right, to the clerks, could you swear him in, please?
Okay, Mr. Juan Estrada, can you raise your right hand for me? Okay, you are Juan Estrada, the defendant listed in this case. Okay, so I have here with me the court admonishments and the stipulations. Did your attorney explain this document to you, and is everything listed true and correct to the best of your knowledge? That yes? Can you unmute?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. It's also your desire to enter into a plea today and waive your right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, anyone else back from the breakout room? All right, then we're going to take up the plea with Mr. Estrada. And who was your other client, Ms. McClellan?
Cruz Antonio Munoz.
All right, as soon as he appears, we'll get you into a breakout room with him.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. We through?
No, we're not through.
Oh, right.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go on the record, and then after this, I'm going to take up the compliance hearings. Are the parties ready on Mr. Juan Estrada? Who is the state on this? It's Criminal Trial Division.
Judge, I can stand in on it. I'm not sure who did the paperwork.
Which case?
Estrada.
I got it. Thanks.
Court is calling 2020 CR 5582 State of Texas versus Juan Jesus Estrada. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Wendy McClellan for the defense.
Are you Mr. Estrada?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No objection.
No, ma'am.
Any objections from the defense?
No, ma'am.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Estrada, I need you to pull up your mask.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry about that.
Mr. Estrada, did you sign a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conferencing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review that document with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Defense, was your client able to read these documents, or did you read them to him?
Your Honor, I read them to him.
Counsel, did you sign a document entitled Discovery Acknowledgement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review that discovery with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video, and the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Estrada, did you review a document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge, we are waiving the enhancement paragraph.
And are you proceeding on count A and B?
Sorry,
It's count 1, paragraph A and paragraph B.
I believe it was B. Yeah, we're proceeding on B, waiving A.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Estrada, did you review a document with your attorney entitled Court Admonishments?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you're charged with is burglary of a building with intent to commit theft?
Yes,
That's a
ma'am.
state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial? A right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Mr. Estrada, has anyone coerced you, threatened you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your punishment be under 12.44 of the penal code to 120 days in the Bexar County Jail, and the state is proceeding on count 1, paragraph B only. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Estrada, did you review a paragraph with your attorney entitled Waiver of Appeal, and did you understand that paragraph?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign that paragraph in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense of burglary of a building with intent to commit theft, Mr. Estrada, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, the state offers States Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Estrada, did you review a document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you electronically sign it at all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial?
Yes,
A
ma'am.
right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
Court will follow your plea bargain agreement. The court will sentence you to 120 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44 of the Penal Code, give you credit for any time served. Does he have judgment satisfied on this case?
No,
Judge.
he does not.
Right. Mr. Estrada,
Yes, ma'am.
did you review a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with that, we will close the record. Good luck to you, Mr. Estrada.
Thank you.
Do better, be better, and not pick up any more cases, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Norma, can you let them know Mr. Estrada can go back, please?
Yes, ma'am.
And we're still waiting for Munoz.
Okay, no problem.
They're bringing him, Judge.
I'm sorry, what?
They're bringing him. They're bringing him
Okay.
up.
All right, thank you. All right, now we're off the record, and I'm going to go over the compliance hearings. Stephanie Ray Guerra.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you'll unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, how you been doing on probation?
Okay, I'm currently in the hospital.
Nobody told me that.
Yes, ma'am. I have been here for about 30 days.
Okay.
My water broke early when I was 7 months pregnant, so I have to stay here until I have my baby.
Okay, well, is it going to be a boy or a girl? Do you know?
It's going to be a little boy.
All right. Well, I would ask you to name him Stephen for obvious reasons, because my name is Stephanie, but I won't do that.
I got you, Judge. I got you.
All right. So this is what I'm going to need you to do for me,
Yes,
because I
ma'am.
received this report from probation. I don't
Yes,
know if they know that you're actually in the hospital.
I told my new probation officer. I left him a message the day I was admitted. I've been here since February 12th.
All right. Rebecca, can you make note of that for probation?
Yes, ma'am.
And on Miss Guerra, we'll just continue to monitor her.
Okay.
All right, Miss Guerra, is there anything else?
I will not be able to leave the hospital because I'm gonna have to have a C-section. So my C-section's due on March 8th, but because of my baby's complications, we're gonna be here for about 3 months.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I was like,
no. When I say stay in contact with probation, just
yes,
let
ma'am.
them know when you're released, because otherwise I receive reports. And
Yes,
when I
ma'am.
get reports,
it's not a
it
good
doesn't
thing.
have this information in it.
Right.
So now I'm glad you were able to zoom in, take care of yourself, take care of your baby.
Thank
And Rebecca Reyes is going to put in the documentation that you're in the hospital.
Okay.
Rebecca, do you need to talk to her at all?
No, just let her know that just to maintain communication with her officer.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
All right, you too. All right, is there an Isaiah Escobedo Sr. here?
I'm just Isaiah Escobedo.
Okay, are you on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's see what they're telling me about you. Yeah, we have a problem. All right, so you're on probation, and you're on probation for possession with intent to deliver 4 grams to 400 grams. And what we're having a problem with you is that you're not submitting, and when you are submitting, you're testing positive?
Well, the last week, with the snow days, they were closed, so I wasn't able to go and test. And then when I went on Thursday, she said that she had sent me an email saying that my levels have risen.
Yes.
But I have not been smoking since the last time that we had the first compliance hearing.
Mhm.
And I wasn't sure why. She said my levels have gone up. I was dehydrated. That's about it.
Now, so here's the thing. When you come back here again, if I see this marijuana levels, we're going to have a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
You
I've
understand?
just been working and taking care of my newborn. That's why I was confused on why my levels, how they're rising. I haven't done anything.
Well, here's the thing. I understand that people have a life and life tends to get in the way. When you're on probation, life can't get in your way. Because
ma'am.
if you let life get in your way and you're not completing the conditions that are being asked for you, then life is going to hit you at the Bexar County Jail and may end up hitting you in the prison.
Yes, ma'am.
So for you, you can either follow your conditions in the free world, or you can have 0 conditions and go to prison. It's
Yes, ma'am.
completely up to you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the last time that you and I are going to have a conversation. I realize that you're sort of young. How old are you?
I'm 22.
All right. I realize that you're sort of young. And sometimes when you're 22, you're still in that child mode, that kid mode where, hey, I'm the jokester, everything's going fine, but you're an adult now and you have a contract, and you have a contract with this court. And if you don't follow that contract, what's going to end up happening is you're going to find yourself at the Bexar County Jail because the state is going to file another motion. I'm going to notate that I have gone and talked to you about what's going on in your life, and you've still not done what I wanted you to do. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. But like I said, I really have not smoked, so I'm just confused on how this is possible that my levels have risen. Like,
you better figure it out because they have risen. And I can tell you this, if you have a baby, you shouldn't be smoking marijuana.
Yes,
Because
ma'am,
whatever
I'm not.
you do, your child mimics it. Do you
Yes, I'm trying
understand?
to set a good example. I've done my parenting classes, and like I said, I'm just working, and when I'm not at work, I'm here helping take care of my son.
All right, this is the last face-to-face we're going to have if you're doing something wrong. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I understand that people say marijuana is, shouldn't be illegal, but it's still illegal here in Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
And you still can't have marijuana or drink alcohol while you're on probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you've completed your parenting classes, you need to make sure that probation has documentation that you've completed or that you've been going to your parenting classes. Do you understand?
Yes, I sent her the certificate, and she's received it and everything.
All right. Rebecca, is there anything else he needs? You need to speak to him about?
No, ma'am.
All right, you're free to go. Do not come back here for foolishness. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're excused.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
Judge, whenever you're done with your hearings, we're ready on Jacob Brown.
All right, just give me a moment. All right, Laura Peterson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, just give me a moment. You're here for a compliance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Miss Peterson, how are you doing on probation?
I'm doing well. I know it's supposed to end at the end of this month. In October, we had this, but I've been testing positive for COVID. That's why I haven't went in. I've been trying to make my payments. I explained to my Miss Carrillo that the beginning of March, I was going to try to pay a significant amount off my balances, and that as soon as I was able to go in, I would. I haven't even been all my testing, my hospital records, I sent to my probation officer, so I don't know.
So
I just was tested on February 21st, and I'm still positive. I haven't
right.
seen my
Did you
kids
send that
in person.
document? Did you send that documentation to
Yes, ma'am.
probation?
I emailed her everything.
Probation? Do you have documentation that she's ill?
Judge, I can't check because you're on share screen and it doesn't allow me to move it.
There
Let
we
me get
go.
it. Thank you. Let me check into her file.
Probation has really changed my life, believe it or not. I know it looked like, oh, she was still testing positive. I haven't used marijuana since I think April. My last tests were clean when I did come in. I've been promoted to manager. I just can't even go to work in person because I'm testing positive. So probation has helped me a lot. I can say that, but it's just, this is the scariest thing I'm dealing with because I haven't seen my kids. I can't go to work. That's why I look like this.
Excuse me, Judge. The last note that the probation has scanned into the computer was the note she provided back in October for her daughter from the daughter's school.
All right, so here's the thing.
But I'm sorry, Judge. I've sent everything into Miss Carrillo. I can resend them like from her email.
Well, that's what I'm going to have you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Rebecca?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you put your email in the chat box for Miss Peterson so that she can send the documentation to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So they're going to she's going to put her email in the chat box. You need to send that documentation to her.
Yes, ma'am. Where is that going to come on my screen as well?
Yes, she's going to chat it to you specifically.
Okay. Yeah, I've been sending her everything, even when we talk. She was like, I got that one, so I don't.
Ms. Peterson, I'm going to send it to you through the text because your name is not populating for the
text, like it tells me when to go to court or when to report.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to send you my email. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Norma, on this case, Miss Peterson.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's recall this for next week.
Okay.
So that we can see where we are.
I can do that Monday, the 8th.
All right, we're going to come back on March 8th to see if probation has the documentation. So,
yes, ma'am.
Rebecca Rance is going to be texting everything to you, and you send it to her.
Yes, ma'am. And just send her all the information that I've sent my probation officer, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just sent you the text, so you should receive it.
I can't check it because we're on Zoom, but when we I don't want it to end the Zoom. But I'll send them as soon as I get off of here to your email.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then she says she sent it. Zoom off. If for any reason you don't have that, then you zoom back in and let us know.
Yes, ma'am. No, I'll send it right now when I get off Zoom. I just can't check it.
Okay. All right. You're excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, David Woodard, you said you're ready on your client?
Yes, Judge, we're ready on Jacob Brown. It's a PSI.
All right. Who's the prosecutor on this?
It should be Marcus.
Brenda, you're ready?
I'm ready.
All right, everyone, if you're not a part of this hearing, I'll need you to please mute. Court is calling 2020 CR 0430, State of Texas versus Jacob Christopher Brown. If I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Marcus Sanders for the state.
for the defense.
David Andre Woodard for Mr. Brown.
And are you Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No objection.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, everyone, I'm sorry, just give me a moment, please. All right, we're back on the record. Mr. Brown, do you have any objections with us proceeding by video?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea on February 1st, 2021, and I'll note for the record that that plea was entered by video. The charge was aggravated robbery. According to the plea bargaining agreement, the state is requesting that your punishment be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. The state opposes your application for deferred adjudication. They are taking in consideration 626220, and there's to be restitution to Taj, T-A-J Matthews, and Martin Rodriguez. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
I have, Judge.
Okay. Are there any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then state you're opposed to the defendant's application to deferred adjudication. Why?
Judge, so initially our opposition was for a couple reasons. We had a victim who initially was cooperative. His version of the facts is slightly different, or is different than what's in the PSI. And so I guess reading what's in the PSI sort of made me change my overall view of the case. I guess ultimately we would still be opposed just because Mr. Brown was already on probation at the time that he committed this offense out of Wilson County. And then after this offense, he picks up another misdemeanor theft where he stole from someone he knew. So we know that.
Okay, I don't understand. You said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, and I don't think it's put in. You said after this case, he picked up a misdemeanor theft?
Yes, Judge, there's a misdemeanor theft that we agreed to TIC for his plea on this case.
Okay, so let's talk. You were saying that after reviewing the PSI report, it made you think differently. Can you explain that to the court?
Yes, I guess what we were told by our victim was that he, I guess, was just like a good citizen who was helping out at-risk youth. And so based on that and the fact that this defendant and his co-defendant took advantage of the situation, that's why we were opposed. The PSI says that they were in a relationship. And so we don't have a victim to speak to ask him about that, but it was the first that we've heard about it. And so that's what.
Wait a minute, you said something about a relationship?
Yes, Judge, the PSI states that the defendant and the victim were in a relationship.
When you say relationship, what do you mean?
And they were a couple, a romantic relationship.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Woodard?
Judge, if I may, it appears that Jacob has been in custody on this case since October 25th of 2019. He's been in continuous custody. And as Mr. Sanders mentioned, at the time of this offense, he was on deferred adjudication out of Wilson County for a less than a gram case. Looking at the PSI, it appears that the probation department in Wilson County is going to withdraw their MTR as soon as this case has been resolved. The facts of the case, or portions of the facts that Mr. Sanders is mentioning regarding relationship, is the complainant and my client were in a dating relationship when this offense occurred. Looking at the PSI, it does not appear that the PSI officer was able to make contact with the complainant to get their version of what they want to see happen to Mr. Brown, which I think is important. Usually when you have a case of this magnitude, typically the complainant has a voice and they want to make sure the prosecutor in the court knows their voice. But in this particular case, the complainant has not made contact with the PSI officer. I think they've stated they made numerous attempts to call and text them. So there is no opinion right now from the complainant on what they want to see happen with Mr. Brown. What I would place before the court is that he does have a minimal criminal history. At the time that he picked up this offense, he was on deferred for a less than a gram. And then he also has a misdemeanor theft case, which Mr. Sanders is going to TIC in consideration for this plea. But aside from that, this is the only thing he has going is this aggravated robbery, which he has taken responsibility for in terms of his plea. Looking at the TAP evaluation, Mr. Brown has dealt with some substance abuse issues with alcohol and also with methamphetamine. The TAP evaluation is recommending inpatient treatment. What I would recommend to the court, because he's been in custody so long, since almost a year and a half, we're looking at since he's been in since October of 2019, if the court does grant his application, in light of placing him in inpatient treatment, since he's been in continuous custody for so long, if the court would consider intensive outpatient treatment. Of course, I can't vouch the fact that he's been sober while he's been in jail, but I will go out on a limb and say that he hasn't had access to alcohol and also to methamphetamines while he's been in there. He does realize that he made a mistake, bad choice that night when this offense occurred. He's accepted responsibility for that in terms of entering his plea. And we're just asking the court to consider his application and grant his application.
Okay, so here's my question. What does the fact that he was in a romantic relationship with the complainant have to do with this case?
Well, I think it's somewhat changed. I think it changed the facts of what that complainant initially told to Mr. Sanders when they were evaluating the case. The complainant alleges that they were not in a relationship. He was just trying to help Mr. Brown and the co-defendant out. And that's, in my opinion, in my evaluation of the case, that was never the facts. It appears that Mr. Brown and the complainant were in a relationship and things got out of hand that night. They were going to a motel to spend the night and things got out of hand that night in that vehicle. And the facts speak for themselves. An aggravated robbery happened, but it wasn't a stranger on stranger type of case. It wasn't the fact that Mr. Brown is taking advantage of this person. It's that they're in a relationship, and like relationships sometimes happen, disagreements happen, and it escalated to a point where it shouldn't have escalated to.
Okay, because I don't think anybody on this screen, and when I say anybody, I mean defense attorneys and prosecutors who have had relationships escalate to an aggravated robbery. So I'm trying to wrap my mind around how the fact that they were in a romantic relationship, how that translates to him, well, to the fact that you feel he should receive deferred adjudication.
And Judge, the reason I'm asking for deferred adjudication primarily is because he has a limited criminal history. He has no violent criminal history at all. The only prior case that he has is a less than a gram, and then of course he has a misdemeanor theft case. So it's not like he has a history of assaults, a history of criminal mischief, history of any type of violence. In my dealing with Mr. Brown, and I can only vouch for our relationship that I've had as an attorney with him. He doesn't strike me as a violent type of person. He does admit in the PSI that he was under the influence. And of course, some people who are under the influence behave differently than they normally would. And I think that exacerbated what happened. Him being under the influence of alcohol and substances at that time. I think the relationship fact is, I mean, people behave differently in relationships. No, I haven't escalated to the point where I've committed an aggravated robbery, but other people behave differently in relationships and also when they're under the influence of drugs. And I think that's what happened with Mr. Brown.
All right, and State, have you had any contact whatsoever with the complainant in this case?
We did initially, Judge. He was really responsive. His stance on it was that he wanted prison because of the version that we were told that he was trying to help the defendant out and they took advantage of him and robbed him. We informed him that a plea was approaching on this case and the co-defendant's case, and then that was the last that we heard of him. We've tried on multiple occasions, at least 3 or 4 different times, to call and text and haven't heard any response.
All right, Mr. Brown, is there anything you wish to say?
I would just like to say that I know that
just 1 second.
I'm sorry.
You can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you can lower your hand. Defense, would you like to ask him any questions?
Well, I guess the only question I would have is, Mr. Brown, I know the judge asked, did you have anything that you wanted to add to what I've said and also what Mr. Sanders has said? Is there anything you want to add to the court to let them know about this incident, about what you want to happen regarding your application for deferred adjudication?
Just that I know that I made a mistake and I let the situation get out of hand that day. And
No, let me stop you right there.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't make a mistake, you made a choice.
Yes, ma'am. I know I made a wrong decision, the choice to do something that I shouldn't have. And I just hope that the court will take into account that I have never done this before, and I just don't want the rest of my life to be a product of one bad choice that I made, and that I can be a productive member of society if I'm just given a second chance. That's all, Your Honor.
All right, any questions from the state?
No, Judge.
All right, I'll hear argument.
Judge, ultimately, our stance is we're still asking that you deny his application. He's been given a second chance. He was on probation out of Wilson County, and he still committed new offenses. And so we don't think that he would be a candidate for probation.
All right, defense, any other argument?
No, Judge, not aside from the arguments that I've already presented before the court, but I would like the court to strongly consider how long he's been in custody as part of his punishment on this type of offense. He's been in since October 25th of 2019. I do believe he can be a productive member of our society. Of course, if he gets a felony conviction of this type, it's an uphill battle. It's already an uphill battle because he already has the probation case in Wilson County. Then he'll have, if the court does grant his application here, he'll have another felony case that he's dealing with. But we're just asking the court to strongly consider that application. And also the facts of the case. I don't believe, and I don't want to misspeak, but I don't believe the complainant received any types of injuries. I don't think that he was actually injured during the aggravated robbery. I would like the court to consider that also.
All right, Mr. Brown, I only know you based upon what I've received in the form of police report and PSI reports. You know you better than I know you, better than your defense attorney knows you, better than the world knows you. And how old are you?
24, Your Honor.
All right, and right now you probably know yourself better than your parents know you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know whether you would be great on probation. So far, you've proven to me that you won't be great on probation. But here's your quandary, and I'll give you a decision to make. I can give you 10 years deferred. However, if you are revoked on that, you're looking at life in prison. Or you can take the 5 years now. Once you complete the 5 years, you're not on probation, you're done. So what do you want to do? But know that if I give you deferred adjudication and you mess up on it, that means that you violated conditions that I've given to you. You're subject to the full range of punishment.
Yes, ma'am. I would like the 10 years deferred, please.
Okay. All right. And let me just tell you this before you 100% say yes.
Yes, ma'am.
People will say that when they're in custody. And they say that because they're like, I promise you, I'm going to do great things. I'm going to do everything that you're asking me. And it's because at the point in time, they're feeling the weight and the pressure of being in custody, and nobody likes being in custody. I guarantee you, nobody there wants to be in prison or in orange, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So they always promise that they're going to do everything that's asked of them because they don't want to be in custody. But I'll give you 10 years deferred, but I'm telling you right now, the way you felt when you came before me and you thought maybe I'm going to be doing 5 years in prison and preparing myself for that. Every time you make a decision while you're on probation, you need to be thinking, is this something that I could get revoked for and spend life in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
So when you look at the decisions you're going to be making, your bad decisions that you make could turn into a horrible decision, which may result in you going to prison for life.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, I'll sentence you to 10 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Take in consideration 626220. There's going to be intensive outpatient treatment with probation. Weekly Zoom reporting until further notice.
So I have another court date on April 8th.
Where are you going to be living?
With my mother at 6300 Rue Maryland.
6300 what?
Rue Maryland, RUE space MARIELYN.
And what's your mother's name?
Bobby Faulkner, BOBBIE FAULKNER.
Defendant to reside at 6300 Rue Marion Lane with Bobby Faulkner. There's going to be GPS, waive fees, defendant allowed to work. I'm going to want field visits. How far did you go in school?
To the 9th grade.
Why do you only have a 9th grade education?
We moved around a lot growing up, and so I was put in homeschool, and then I just never completed it.
There's going to be 250 hours of community service restitution. That'll be waived if he obtains GED or trade school certification. And the court is going to require you to obtain your GED or some sort of trade certification. And there's to be proof of employment within 30 days of release. Restitution and no contact with Taj Matthews and Martin Rodriguez. Rebecca, is there anything else he needs?
Are you gonna do a random drug test?
Yes, random UAs.
And Judge, the other co-defendant, I would ask that a no contact be put in for
Yes, and who is the co-defendant?
Julian Barrios, BERRIOS.
All right, and there's to be no contact with Julian Barrios. And there's to be no employment with vulnerable persons. That means that you can't be a home health care provider. You cannot be babysit children or anything like that. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And I'm going to give you my speech about 9th grade education. Education in the United States is free. People come from foreign countries not speaking the language. They come here high school age. They end up coming to a high school and becoming the valedictorian or first in their class. That's just laziness from people who were born here. So stop being lazy. Stop making excuses. At some point, it is no longer your parents' fault that you only have a 9th grade education. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
So you're at an age, it will no longer be acceptable for you to blame your parents for what's going on in your life. And I'm going to give you a curfew. And that curfew is going to be 8 p.m. So, you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
So when street lights come on,
So I won't be able to work overnight anywhere?
if you provide proof to probation that you're actually working, yes.
Okay, and if.
But for now,
Yes, ma'am.
8 p.m. is your curfew. When you had better be in that house before the street lights come on.
And
You
if
understand?
if my address changes for any reason, I just let my probation officer know that?
Yep. See, look at you. You're already trying to.
No, I just want to make sure that I have it so I don't violate my probation for any
Yeah.
reason.
Well, and let me just tell you another
Yes,
thing.
ma'am.
You're living with your mom.
Yes, ma'am.
So legally you're an adult, but you're still acting like a child because you can't support yourself. So whatever your mom says in that house goes.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep your room clean. Help her around the house. Wash dishes. Try to figure out some way to earn your keep. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. I'm going to send you to a breakout room. Probation will go over conditions with you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Woodard, I'm going to send you to a breakout room with your client. To breakout room number 5, and probation will meet you there in just one moment.
Okay.
And everyone, give me a moment, please.
Another thing, if an affidavit is made. No, should that help?
Hello. Good, how are you?
Okay, so, another question, do I have to come back to court or you can get out of this? Yeah. Yeah.
180 days in state jail.
All right, anyone else ready?
Ahora sí.
Wendy, have you, Ms. McClellan, have you had a chance to speak with your client yet?
I have not.
Mr. Brown, you need to go to breakout room number 5.
My client is the Cruz Munoz in custody.
All right, we're still waiting for them for some reason. We'll find out what's going on.
No problem.
Judge, I'm back on Mr. Zepeda. He did check in and is here, just to let the court know.
All right, what is happening with Mr. Zepeda?
I spoke to him and I told him that I would meet in a breakout room with him when I got back and convey the offer.
All right, Mr. Zepeda? I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1, and your attorney will meet you in 1.
Judge, I'm back as well with Thomas Beck.
Yes.
It's a PR bond for Victor Miranda. We discussed it. As far as I can tell, he's qualified. He had a prior domestic arrest, but that case was dismissed, and I don't think that disqualifies him based on the governor's order.
It does not.
And he's got 3 cases. He's got a misdemeanor DWI. He's got a felony theft and a felony drug case. The drug case is Windcrest. I don't know for sure. They may possibly use DPS, which means those results will be a while. The misdemeanor theft is, the theft is a theft in hand, so it's baseline misdemeanor. So the state's not opposed to the PR bond, and I think he qualifies it for it. And the defense told me he was evaluated and accepted to Haven for Hope on January 25th. So I don't know that he has a place to live. I don't know if that's still valid, but if he does get released, then that's still an opportunity. I think that would be acceptable to the state.
All right, Mr. Victor Miranda, where are you? Mr. Miranda, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing fine. So here's my question. Where are you going to be staying?
They gave me that option to go ahead and stay right there Heaven for Hope. So they told me to go ahead and try it out. At the same time, I'm talking to my mother. She stays in California, but I don't know the situation. I got to fix first with the court.
Oh, you're not going to be allowed to leave to go to California.
Okay then. So well, I'll stay with him for Hope as I get a friend, because I haven't got no contact with no friends at all.
All right, and what's going on with your drug habit?
Well, I'm already through it.
Well,
You know what I'm
I mean, no, you've been through it because you're at the Bexar County Jail. Have you had any type of treatment for it?
No, not at all, ma'am.
All right, so what's your drug of choice?
Drug of choice? Well, at the moment, I was just doing everything.
All right.
I wasn't really caring about my life.
All right, so I'm going to grant the PR bond. I'll waive your fees. But what I am going to order is, I'm going to order that you do substance abuse treatment.
Okay. And
And
how
I'll give you outpatient.
so that's like NA classes or what you mean?
No, they're going to talk to you about it. You need to stay in contact. If you do not stay in contact with these people, because you're going to get documentation. Where is Mr. Miranda? All right, you need to hold up your head. Why are you bending over? All
Sorry
right,
about that.
here's the thing. I'm going to give you a PR bond. But
Okay.
if you fall off the face of the earth and you don't stay in contact with the people that you're supposed to stay in contact with, let me tell you what's going to end up happening. What's going to end up happening is we're going to have a court date. You're not going to show up. A warrant's going to be issued for your arrest. You're going to get taken into custody. You're going to be at the Bexar County Jail. And this court will, of course, consider any motions that I've received, but you will have shown me that you can't be on a PR bond. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to order outpatient treatment. I'll waive the fees. And there will be drug and alcohol testing. It will be random. And I'll waive fees. And while you're out there in the real world, you need to make sure you get employment. How old are you?
I'm already 30, 35, ma'am.
All right, there is no excuse for you not to be having employment. Nobody wants to support you. I don't want to support you. The taxpayers don't want to support you. So you're going to have to get a job. You understand?
No, yeah, I do. I work. I like to work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you say you
yeah.
like to work, we'll do it.
Yeah, I do it. Don't worry about it, ma'am. I will. I know what I gave myself into.
All right, if there's nothing else, then Mr. Beck, your client is excused. Norma, can you let them know to take back Mr. Miranda?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate
Have a
it.
blessed day.
May I be
welcome.
excused, Judge?
Yes. All right, Norma, any update on Wendy McClellan's client?
He's at the annex. They're bringing him, Judge.
Okay. All right, Charles Flood.
Hi, good morning, Your Honor.
Hi, Anthony. Yes, who do you have, Mr. Flood?
I've got a motion for return of property on Webb, W-E-B-B, Your Honor.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 2. A prosecutor will meet you there.
Okay,
Judge,
we've been talking about it via text, Your Honor.
He
Okay.
really just needs a ruling, Judge. The clerks will print the motion for you. We're going to strike provision 10. And then other than that, we're agreed. Mr. Webb is representing the court that, excuse me, Mr. Flood is representing to the court that Mr. Cody Webb will not be getting these weapons back in any way. And actually the rightful owner is his father. And there's a signed attached affidavit swearing to as much.
That's right. And we talked about this at the time of Cody Webb's plea, that his dad was going to want his guns back.
Okay. With the exception of number 10.
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then it has been signed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, you're excused.
Thanks. Thanks, Tom.
Sure.
All right. And then Anthony Zamora, you're here for?
Cosmo Rodriguez, Judge. He was on Wednesday's docket. He was on last Wednesday's docket, Judge.
Okay,
And
I
I'd like
have it.
a little bit of a preview with an apology.
Yes, no problem. Are we ready to proceed?
Yes, we are, but let me just give you a little background procedurally what had happened
Sure. Do you want that on the record?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Who is the prosecutor who's on this?
Tom.
Okay.
And the only reason I went on the record, Judge, is because obviously my client didn't show up on Wednesday.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to bring to the court's attention.
Oh, we're not on the record yet, so I'm going to put it on the record. And is that your client in the box?
Yes, it is.
All right, the court is calling 2018 CR 0973, State of Texas versus Cosmo Rodriguez. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Nisbet.
For the defense?
Anthony Zamora.
All All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state or the defense?
No, Your Honor.
State, any objections?
No, Judge, I'm sorry. None from the state.
All right, the defendant, let me see here. Okay, so this was set for a motion to revoke hearing on December 4th. Then it was reset to January 13th. The defendant was in the hospital. That's the reason for the reset dates. And then it was reset on February 3rd because he was released from the hospital. The defendant appeared by Zoom on February 24th, and the defendant was informed that he was to appear in court on February 24th. The defendant did not appear in the courtroom, and the court issued a bond forfeiture and remanded the defendant without bond. So defense, the court will hear you.
Judge, I don't know where the error occurred, but I did not have notice for February 24th until that morning. And when I received that morning, I contacted my client and we both logged on Zoom. At the time that the court instructed Cosmo to appear in court, I had already scheduled my dad for his first COVID shot. And so I could not be here. I did instruct him to be here. Now, understandably, I know why he didn't show. He was scared of showing up here without his attorney. We contacted each other on Thursday, and then the next date was going to be Friday. And I had yet another medical issue with my father Friday. And so we are here on the first available day that I was able to be here since that Wednesday. And I just want to let the court know, he answered that call Wednesday morning and then panicked when he said, I need to be there by himself on Wednesday. But we are here and we're ready to proceed.
Okay. Then you're here to enter a pleas on the motion to revoke?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Norma, I need a trial court certification on Mr. Cosmo Rodriguez, and I'll also need consent to plea by video.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So as soon as the paperwork is done, we'll proceed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Kettner, what are we doing on your case?
Good morning, Judge. I think we're just about ready. I've been talking with the prosecutor. We've been signing everything back and forth. Let's see. Let me do that. I apologize. I will send it to Norma. I've signed it, and Your Honor, and I'm sending it my client's email address to Norma as we speak.
Okay.
So
And
we're basically moving along. Yes, ma'am.
And I had sent the email address to Norma earlier, Travis.
Yeah. Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. So we're in the hopper, Your Honor. We're on cue, however you want to describe it.
All right. As soon as I receive everything, then we'll proceed.
Okay. Sounds good, Judge. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's always something.
Just chat.
Norma, could you check your chat, please?
I don't have anything on the chat, Judge.
I'm putting it right now.
Oh, okay. Already taking care of that, Judge.
All right, thank you. Eric Baker, has your documents been sent?
Judge, I haven't sent any yet. I need to talk to Mr. Garcia if he's available just briefly. And then I think we have a disposition on the MTR.
All right. I'll send you to breakout room number 2, and Mr. Garcia will meet you in 2.
Great. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Baker, did you need to go back and speak with your client?
Judge, we do have a disposition. I kind of already spoke to him, but I can let him know if you want me to I can let him know what the prosecutor said, but
yes. Is there going to be a plea? What's happening with your case?
He's going to enter a plea of true on the MTR. Yes.
All right. So if you'll put that agreement in the chat box to Norma Ferguson so she can get the appropriate paperwork to you.
Will do. Thank you, Judge.
All right, Norma, and Mr. Brown can go back.
Okay.
And Rebecca.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had contact with Victor Shepard? and Russell Harshaw.
We sent the text to both of them. The officer said with Victor Shepherd, he has not reported, and she tried contacting his family to reach out to him, and no contact as of yet.
Okay, if you'll send me back the supplemental report, and we'll change that.
On Shepherd?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll try again with, it was Harshaw, correct?
Yes. Isaiah Alcaraz. Unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you?
Excuse me?
Where are you?
I'm right here, ma'am.
No, I mean, what is your location? What, did you not hear what I said on the screen at the beginning?
I'm at 3403 Lake Tahoe.
No. What did I say about being appropriate on the screen?
I didn't recall what you said, ma'am.
All right, is your client under any type of influence, Mr. Kettner?
I don't know, Judge. We're obviously in different locations, so I do not know.
Mr. Kettner, I mean, Mr. Alcaraz.
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Why do you think, well, why do you think it's okay to be smoking on screen?
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
No, that's not my question. My question is, why do you think that's okay?
It's not okay because I'm on the court.
So you know it's not okay. So why are you doing it?
I know, ma'am. I'm sorry. My apologies. It wasn't a weed. It wasn't a weed or nothing.
That's not my question. My question is, you know it's wrong. So why are you doing it?
I don't know why, ma'am. I'm sorry about that. It won't happen again.
Then you need to put it out and put it out now.
I already did it already. I threw it away.
Well, I hope you didn't throw it away inside the house without putting it out. That would start a fire.
No, ma'am. I put it out and I threw it away.
And where are you located?
I'm located at my house, ma'am.
And where is that?
3403 Lake Tahoe.
All right, so that's in San Antonio, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to appear in court physically?
Do I want to appear in court?
Yes, physically. Right now you're at your house physically. Do you want to appear in court physically?
Can I talk to my lawyer about that?
Sure.
Hey, Travis.
I'm sending you to breakout room number 2.
We need to go to the breakout room. Hold on.
Yes.
Brenda, today is Monday. Don't let anyone tell you any differently. Travis, today is Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I'm right here too, in case you're wondering.
Okay, what are you doing? Because I don't see your video. That's the question. Okay,
I'm not smoking.
I appreciate that. All right, everyone, as soon as I get the documentation, I'll sign it and we'll start. Rebecca, I just sent you a chat.
Okay, I'll try to resend it again.
Hey, Judge.
Hello.
Yeah, George Johnbart. I know you can't put on the mask. I don't have anything on the docket today, but I wanted to talk to you about a case that I just got hired on. And so I didn't have a Zoom thing, so I came down. But since I was talking with Mr. Zamora and I saw that you were on, but I didn't know if I could come back and talk to you or.
If you have case numbers for us, if you mention this case number, the clerks will pull the file.
It's a 2019 CR 9380.
And what's the defendant's name?
Ramsey Gonzalez.
Okay, why do I remember
Judge,
this?
I sent him an email yesterday. I'm sorry to interrupt. I sent him an email yesterday. He wanted a motion to set bond on this case. I told him I was unable to present it to you because the defendant was arrested. Dan Rodriguez was on this case. He is hired on the MTR. Mr. Gonzalez is currently in jail. I'm unable to request him because he has to be quarantined for 2 weeks. I know you require for the defendant to be present on via Zoom, so he is unable to be present. So I told him the motion cannot be heard till maybe the 22nd until he's cleared.
Well, and that's what, I wanted to talk to you about, Judge. It's not an MTR. It's a case awaiting trial, I believe. But it was a situation in which he was originally set during the week of the snowstorm. And so the court was canceled. And then I guess the court either recalled it or reset the case to the 24th. And, but the client says he never got notice. He was on GPS, Judge. And so, the court issued a bond forfeiture for the failure to appear on Zoom.
Could I have the file on Ramsey Gonzalez, please? 2019 CR 9380. Thank you. All right, just give us a moment.
Sure, Judge. You want me to take a seat? And
yes.
Judge, can I see you in the breakout room real quick, please?
Yes. I'll meet you in breakout room number 7. Norma, any ETAs on Wendy McClellan's client?
I keep calling the jail and they said they're bringing him up.
Like, what does that even,
He
like, I'm
said
trying to
they're
figure out,
adding-
what does that mean? Is he coming from like another county?
I have no idea, maybe. Let me see. Let me call again.
Yeah. Wendy, it's like when you go to a restaurant sometime and you just ordered a salad and you're like, are they growing the vegetables in the back?
It's Monday.
Yeah, it is.
Like you said, it's Monday.
It's Monday. Thank you for your patience.
Well, thank you for checking.
All right, and then we're waiting, Travis Kettner.
Yes, ma'am. I did talk to my client. I didn't see what transpired. I told him that we both have a responsibility to make sure that anybody that goes to court is in the right frame of mind, sober, etc. He assured me that it was a cigarette. If you would like for him, I told him that that's basically the impetus behind that court wanting to come down.
It shows that it's a cigarette, but
Okay.
the way he's
Well, that's a
behaving,
relief.
I don't know who would smoke a cigarette during the court
well.
when I made the announcement beforehand that he wasn't allowed to.
Yes, well, and that was obviously inappropriate. I was more concerned that it was something more serious, I guess, than a cigarette. But like I said, I didn't see it. So I think we've been trading our plea papers back and forth with the court and with Laura. I think hopefully we're pretty close to being ready.
Okay, awesome.
Knock on wood. We have our Monday run, right?
Yes. And Rebecca, I've signed that document.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
They're bringing him, Judge.
All right. Thank you. All right, so on Mr. Ramsey Gonzalez courtroom, could I have the attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so with regards to your client, Mr. Ramsey,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense attorney was in contact with him and he knew to be here and he didn't show. And let me just tell you what's on the docketing sheet. And if you want to come back and get a copy of the docketing sheet, you're more than welcome to. So on September 1st, 2020, your client was a no-show. Then on September 14th, there was a new attorney. So I put him on GPS. And then on October 21st, it was to be recalled for October 22nd because the defendant was a no-show. October 22nd, your client was a no-show. So there was a bond forfeiture issued and he was remanded without bond. Then December 15th, he was remanded without bond because somebody else other than this court granted him a bond. And he was a no-show on December 15th. Then it was set for February 10th. And the defense attorney said he was unable to reach him for the hearing. So I said, okay, we're going to recall it for February 16th. Then that was the issue with regards to the storms and everything. So then it was recalled for February 24th. And the defense attorney got in contact with your client and actually talked to your client. And your client was, I'm at methadone clinic. And your client never showed up that entire day. So this will be set for a hearing. I will hear your hearing on setting him a bond, but for now it's not going to be set.
Okay, Your Honor. Yeah, because the one of the things that I was going to suggest in order to alleviate confusion on his part about appearances, because they had relayed to me that they were having difficulties with the Zoom, is that for all future appearances, he would be required to appear in person in the courtroom, and therefore there would be no dispute or doubt about his presence and failure to appear, Your Honor. I guess I'm just concerned because he's got several health issues, which my understanding are liver and kidney issues.
Which is probably related to the reason why he's getting methadone.
I wouldn't dispute that, Your Honor, but it doesn't erase the fact that he's supposed to be on the methadone daily, and he's been taking it daily for 20 years in combination with other medications. One of those is allopurinol, which I'm familiar with because, and I know that that's an expensive medication. It would cost me $400 a month, and I'm sure he's not being provided that at the jail. And
well, here's the court's problem. Like, I understand what is going on with him. However, here's the court's problem. He has an assault family second offense, and he's not following the court's conditions. At some point, it's like, what can I do with that? I mean, I understand he has issues, but how many times can I remand somebody without bond and they're supposed to show up and they don't show up? How can I put somebody on GPS, which I put him on GPS, and he still won't show up for court? And then the day that he didn't show up where his attorney had contact with him, I told him, let him know he can come to the court, or either he can be on Zoom. He didn't either. And that was on February 24th. And here we are, March 1st, and it's only because he's in custody. So far, the experience with Mr. Gonzalez has been is that he only shows up when he's in custody. And then that's just for him to get a bond. I mean, how many times can somebody unremand him without bond for him to do what he should be doing?
And I understand that, Your Honor, and I'm not discounting what the court's saying, but I am a little somewhat sympathetic to my client because I think, you know, it's not highly educated. I mean, they stated that they're having difficulties with the Zoom, and that's why I had suggested to them that I said that we just from now on that he would just appear in person in court, and that way there is absolutely zero confusion about how he's to appear, when he's to appear, and so forth. But I think that there's been a couple of attorneys. There's been there was, of course, I believe it was Robert Maurer was on the case, and then it went from Dan Rodriguez to Stephen Barrera and them, and you know, my understanding is that they've had a dispute about whether or not the credit card was even processed, and they were actually retained on the case. And so, whereas they were saying that they hadn't received it, and my client's got proof that says she has proof that they did, and so forth. But there, you know, and it's my hopes that, Your Honor, that now that I'm on the case, that I can resolve any issues about non-appearance and any confusions about appearance and the requirements to appear.
But here's the thing. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I'm internalizing what you're saying. But what you're saying, every attorney who has wanted the remand without bond lifted has said, and every defendant and every attorney that appears in this court, I always tell them, if your client cannot Zoom, then they can appear in court. There's never been an issue for anybody who appears in this courtroom that, oh, I can't Zoom, so therefore I'm just not going to show up. And the fact that his attorney, Dan Rodriguez, actually had contact with him and he still didn't show up. And I just don't know what else is expected of the court when he has been given chance after chance to do what he's supposed to do. And now for him, through his attorney, to come to me and say, oh, you know, if something bad, because that's the vibe I'm getting, if something happens to him because he's not getting on the methadone, because he's been on the methadone for 20 years, then somehow lay that at the feet of the court when all he had to do was what was required of him. And I don't understand, to whoever's given him methadone for 20 years, I don't understand that. My understanding, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, but my understanding is that methadone is supposed to be used to wean you off of heroin. It's not supposed to be a replacement for heroin. And if he's been on methadone for 20 years, he's just been using a legal drug for 20 years that's sort of the same as heroin.
Sure, Your Honor, and I understand that, and and that's kind of my
And I'm
understanding.
not holding that against him, but he can't come in and use the fact that he's been on methadone for 20 years. Therefore, I need to release him again, and this will be the 1, 2, 3, the third time that I'm supposed to, give him a bond so he can't show up to court when he's supposed to.
And I understand that, Your Honor, but the representations that were made to me, and that, and I've only been on the case for, 24, 48 hours, is that that there was not an understanding that he could appear in court. And that's why I was going to say in this case, Your Honor, as a condition of the bonds, that it be made that he's no longer allowed to appear via Zoom.
No, here's the thing though, that's the representation he's given you. But that's not what he was specifically told. He was specifically told he could appear by Zoom or in court. And I give everyone a chance to appear when they're late for court. And when defense attorneys say, oh, this person is having problem with Zoom, what I say is, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to recall this case for an in-person day. With your client, because I've had so much problem with your client not showing when he knows he's to appear, I let his attorney know he can show either in court or he can show by Zoom. He chose to do neither. And the only time this court has contact with your client is when he's in custody. Otherwise, he doesn't appear.
And Your Honor, but the other issue is though, and I'm not in a position to dispute, Dan. I know Dan, but I can just go by what I was told is that, he didn't know that he was supposed to be in court. He was on GPS and he's only allowed to go to certain places, and the methadone clinic is one. And I don't even think GPS probably was aware that he was supposed to appear in court. And, and I don't know what that situation was, but again, it's if he didn't get notice that he was to appear on the 24th, because I don't know.
No, he did receive notice. That's what I'm telling you. He received notice that he was supposed to be here and he didn't show.
Well, I understand you mentioned that he received notice the day of, but I'm saying I don't know if he received notice before or when notice went out.
If you want to file a motion, you can file a motion. We'll hear it. Your client, my understanding from the court coordinator, is not going to be available till what date, Norma?
22nd, Judge.
All right, we'll hear it on the 22nd.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome.
Judge Eduardo Jimenez, just letting you know I'm here, coming out of another Zoom.
All right, and we're here for your sentencing on Roxanne Hutchinson.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and your client didn't appear in court.
That's correct.
And according to the plea bargain agreement, if defendant doesn't appear for sentencing, defendant is subject to the full range of punishment. So I'll send you to a breakout room. The court can, one of the prosecutors will discuss that with you. This is a criminal trial division case. I'll send you to breakout room number 2. And Wendy McClellan, your client is here. I'll send you to breakout room number 3. Mr. Munoz, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you.
Judges, Hutchinson in custody?
I'm sorry, Mr. Munoz? Who?
Is Hutchinson Eduardo's client in custody?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
And to the clerks, you should have all the documents on Cosmo Rodriguez.
Let me take a look, Judge.
Thank you. And there should be 2 documents only. A certificate of appeal appeal and consent to plea.
Okay, I just haven't received the cert of appeal back.
All right, it should be coming through. If you want to bring the documents forward.
Okay, Judge.
Thank you. I just sent it back, so you should have it.
Okay, as soon as I get it, I'll bring it to you.
All right, thank you. To the courtroom, could I have Cosmo Rodriguez and his attorney, please? All right, the court is going to call 2018 CR 0973, State of Texas versus Cosmo Rodriguez. If I can have parties announced for the record, please, for the state.
Tom Nisbet for the state.
For the defense.
Zamora for Cosmo Rodriguez.
And are you Cosmo Rodriguez?
Yes.
I'm going to need you to speak up.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Is there any objections to us proceeding by video, state?
None.
Defense?
None.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm going to show you two documents. One is entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. The other is entitled State's Motion to Supplement Pending Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Probation. Did you review those documents with your attorney and did you understand them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you the same Cosmo Maximiliano Rodriguez, who's placed on deferred adjudication in 2018 CR 0973 for the offense of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, penalty group 2, 4 grams to 400 grams on May 6, 2019 for a period of 10 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Judge. Sorry, let me just pull this up here. I was not paying attention. I don't have it in the MTRs. I only have Brown, Zepeda, Ellington, and.
All right. If you would like, if you tell me what allegation you all are proceeding on.
Is there a number 5?
There are 1s, 2s.
How about a 2? 1, 2. 1, 2 will work, please.
All right. And there's also a number 5.
1, 2 will be sufficient.
All right. All right. It states, on or about the 24th day of June 2020 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Cosmo Maximiliano Rodriguez did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely methamphetamine, in violation of condition number 2. How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
Could you, thank you. All right, state.
State waives the remaining allegations.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
None. None, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 2 true. Is there an agreement?
There is, Your Honor.
Judge, we are agreed to revoke and adjudicate the defendant and assess 5 years TDC. In exchange for that agreement, the state is going to TIC 4 cause numbers. Tell me when you're ready.
Ready.
Grand jury 733230. Grand jury 733231. Grand jury 733229. In county court 633890.
Is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court then will follow your agreement. The court will find you guilty, sentence you to 5 years in the prison, take in consideration grand jury numbers 733230, 733231, 733229, and county court cause number 633890. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge, I'd just like to add, this is somewhat unique, but in this particular instance, the state is opposing any back time that this particular defendant had. A series of resets have happened, as the court detailed earlier, on getting to this particular day when this detail was made on the front end. One of them was a tussle at a strip club that did not go this defendant's way. And another one was, I think, hemming and hawing on whether he was going to go into Comal County where he has felony problems first or here. So although we are giving him the 5 years we agreed to on the front end, I am asking the court not to credit him the extra icing on the cupcake of his back time in this particular case, as I feel he has not earned it. And that's all from the state.
Well, legally, I believe he's entitled to his back time. Anything from the defense?
Judge, I can understand the state's position on that. How he described the tussle at a strip bar. My client was taken there and assaulted. 3 individuals were arrested. It was a big SAPD news release, and they reached out to the community to identify those 3 individuals. They are in custody. He was actually a victim of a very brutal assault. And as far as the rescheduling, Tom is correct. The court and the state have given us a tremendous amount of courtesy in resetting those dates. And so I cannot address that. The courtesy was given, but I would ask the court to please legally give him the time that he's due, that he's in this case.
All right, he may not deserve it, but I'll give him credit for any time served. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I need you to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. Deputy, you can take Mr. Rodriguez into custody.
Judge, may I have the court recall the bond forfeitures on these? On this?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tom, thank you.
Sure.
Judge, Judge, may I be excused?
Yes, you're excused.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else ready?
Is SATF time mandatorily credited under the code?
No, not SATF. No,
I thought it was discretionary.
No, SATF is, but I was giving him credit for any time that he's been in custody.
Okay, because he had a
but not
SATF trip. I think he had a SATF trip.
No, not for SATF.
Is email working right now?
It should be, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna send these over. Tell me, I'm gonna send this right now, Judge, just to make sure.
I've received outside emails. Let me put it that way. Yes, I've received that. Hi, and on that one, the BF was recalled.
Joe?
Thanks. Yes?
Your Honor, I've talked to my client right now, Mr. Alcaraz. He is having a very difficult time handling doing this over the Zoom and everything. Is it possible for us to come in person?
Yes.
Okay. I think we have a few days. I don't recall the exact parameters of the plea bargain, but I think we still have a few days left. I don't know when.
Norma, if you can have your client come back into the main room.
Yes,
and when
ma'am.
you say, when I'm sorry, just 1 minute, Travis, when you say your
Yes,
client
ma'am.
is having trouble on the Zoom, is he having trouble going on the paperwork? Because I can send someone to help him work the computer. Or the phone that he's
Well, I mean, I want to be sure. He is not a very strong reader, and I'm a little concerned that he's having a hard time with that. And I'm a little concerned that there are other things that are going on in his house that are distracting him and are not really working out the way that it's supposed to in a good Zoom fashion, Your Honor. So.
All right, Norma, can you recall Mr. Alcaraz for either Wednesday or Thursday and have him appear in court?
We can do Wednesday, Judge.
All right, Mr. Alcaraz, could you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're gonna bring you, call you for Wednesday. You need to be in the courtroom.
Yes,
And I'll
ma'am.
be there with you, Isaiah.
Okay.
We'll do it the old way.
It's the 187 District Court, 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor.
Yes,
You said
ma'am.
Wednesday at 9 a.m., Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. I will be there. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, you're excused, Mr. Alcaraz. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Have a good.
Weber.
Norma, any update on Robert Bauer and his client Harshaw?
Not yet, Judge. Let me call him again.
Okay. And Ms. Santos, we're waiting for your attorney.
Ms. Santos' attorney is going to be here in just a few minutes, Judge. He was finishing up a Zoom.
All right,
And then
thank
up
you.
for it. And Judge, can I see Rebecca in the breakout room real quick?
Sure. Rebecca, if
Yes,
you can go to
ma'am.
breakout room number 5, and Norma will meet you in number 5.
Okay.
Pardon me, Judge. This is Eduardo Jimenez again. I was in the room 2. I don't know. Pardon me, room 2. I don't know if I was in the right room or not because there was nobody there. There's been nobody there for quite a while.
All right, could someone go to breakout room number 2 on Eduardo Jimenez's client? It's criminal trial division.
Thank you.
And let me rename you so they'll know. So I need a criminal trial division attorney in breakout room number 2.
Hey, Judge, I'm so sorry. I'm Travis Prisoner's guy. Is that coming back on Wednesday now?
Yes, on Isaiah Alcaraz, it's coming back on Wednesday, and he's going to be in the courtroom. He was having problems with his Zoom.
Sorry, it is, I'm here to back up that desk. I'm having a little bit of issues here and the public fans going here, so.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Judge.
Judge, can I see you in a breakout room really quick?
Sure. I'll see you in breakout room number 5.
Thank you.
Rebecca, can you send the CPD prosecutors the PSI on Hutchison, please?
I think Hutchison is just a sentencing, so there might not be a PSI.
That explains it. Okay. Thanks, Jordan.
Hi, Norma. It's Wendy McClellan.
I think Norma's in the breakout room.
Oh, okay. Is the clerk there? Robert? He probably went to go swear my client.
Hello. All right, I can sneak this in here as I'm doing all my things.
All right, Ms. McClellan, do you have everything?
Everything has been submitted. He's still in the breakout room. I didn't know if I should tell him to come out or stay in there.
No, if he'll stay there, they will come and swear him in.
Okay.
And so do you know, was the trial court certification and everything signed?
Yes.
Okay, then. If you'll go back to your breakout room, I will send a clerk in that breakout room to swear him in.
Okay.
All right, to the clerks, could you go to breakout room number 3, please, and swear in Mr. Munoz?
Yes, Judge, I'm signing it right now too as we speak.
Thank you.
Right there.
And then to the clerks in the back, you should have the documents on Zapata. Rebecca, any update on Russell Hanshaw?
No, I just sent him another text right now to log on, so I'm not sure if he received it or not. I'll give him a call as well.
All right, if not, if you'll send me the, you know what, just send me another document and I'll check a different box.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I haven't got the consent yet. It just hasn't made its way back yet.
Okay, thank you. All right, and on Zepeda, where is Zepeda?
He must still be in the breakout room, Judge. I told him to come to the courtroom. I'll go get him.
All right, thank you. And Norma,
Yes, ma'am.
can you check your email to see where is the consent to plea on Zepeda?
Yes, ma'am. I'll check right now. It's still with the defendant in
All
his
right.
email.
Okay. Let me go there. All right. The consent to plea is still in your client's email, Mr. Baker.
Okay, I'll go back. It's I've been walking him through his technical difficulties all. Oh, he's here in the courtroom. You want me to speak to him right here, Judge?
Mr. Zepeda, you still have documents in your box. So you need to forward back the consent to appear by video. So I'm going to send him back to breakout room number 3.
Okay, Judge, I'll join him there and help him through it.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Zepeda, go to breakout room number 3, please. Thank you. All right, we're going to proceed on Cruz Munoz. Who is the prosecutor on this case? Prosecutor Cruz Munoz, CTD.
Marcus was the one handling it. I don't know if he's handling the plea.
I'm back. And Judge, could you send Hutchinson to room 2?
Okay. Who am I sending to room number 2?
Hutchinson, she's in custody.
Okay. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 0385, State of Texas versus Cruz Anthony Munoz. If I could have parties announced for the record, please, for the state.
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense.
Wendy McClellan.
Right, and are you Cruz Munoz? I need you to unmute for me, please. Are you Cruz Munoz?
Yes, ma'am. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing fine. We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Munoz, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Munoz, I'm showing you a document entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge, we are striking through the drug-free zone language.
Any objections?
No.
Mr. Munoz, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
understand it? And did you
Yes.
electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
The state is proceeding on possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment for that offense is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Just one moment. Did you understand that if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow those plea bargain agreements? If
Yes,
for
ma'am.
any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? And did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the, sorry. According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. They're asking that your punishment be assessed under 12.44 of the penal code to 105 days in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you
Yes.
understand it, and did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
We're going to go off the record for a moment. Mr. Oscar Hernandez, please go to breakout room number 1 and could someone from Criminal Trial Division discuss this case with him? Thank you. Then to the offense as charged, the lesser included offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. Mr. Munoz, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, State offers States Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Munoz, I'm showing you a document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call them the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We just ask that you give him credit for the time he served and
All right,
proceed with sentence.
Is it going to be a judgment satisfied or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The court will follow your plea bargain agreement, sentence you to 105 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44 of the Penal Code, give you credit for any time served, and the court will show that the judgment is satisfied. Next, Mr. Munoz, I'm showing you a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Munoz, how old are you?
I just turned 29 years old, ma'am, on the 3rd of February.
All right, Mr. Munoz, you know what happens when people continue to use drugs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Either they end up spending a life in prison, or either they don't make it. Right?
Yes,
So
right.
now it's time for you to make a decision. How long have you been in jail? For over 105 days, I'm sure. Well, maybe not, but I'm assuming that you have not been using drugs while you've been in jail.
No, I haven't, Your Honor.
Right. So here's the thing about heroin and the bad thing about heroin. I watch a lot of television. I watch a lot of documentaries. So the guy from, what is his name? Stephen, who's the guy who sings with the band? His name is Stephen. First name is Stephen. Oh my gosh, you're not helping me any. It's Steven Tyler. There you go. Well, what's the name of the band from Steven Tyler?
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
Oh, okay.
So, you know Aerosmith. So
Yeah, I listened to some of his songs.
yeah. Well, if you, VH1 used to have these documentaries about bands and how it was the 80s, everybody was using all these drugs. I think it was either Cinderella or some group that was even shooting alcohol in their veins. Like, who does this, right?
Yeah.
So he started using heroin a lot. And he said he thought he was going to die. And so the entire band had to go into rehab because you can't have one person who's in rehab and the rest of the band is still using, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So he said he hasn't used heroin for years. But to this day, when he hears about somebody who's overdosed from heroin, he said the first thing that clicks in his mind is, man, that must have been some good heroin. I should find out where, who made that. And then he says everything that he's learned kicks in, and he's like, okay, Stephen, you can't do heroin. So I tell you that to say this. You are not actively in rehab. And I know more likely than not, time when you get out of the Bexar County Jail, you're going to be thinking, let me go get some heroin. I'm telling you right now, what should click on your brain after the first thoughts are, I should get some heroin. It should be, let me go to an NA meeting or somewhere, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up right back in here. You're going to end up spending your life in prison, and you're going to look up and you're going to see that you've wasted like 60 years of your life on nonsense. That's my speech for the day for you. Do what you will with it, but I'm telling you, do not get out of the Bexar County Jail and go straight to using drugs, okay?
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
Mm-hmm.
Norma, he can go back. Ms. McClellan, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank
All right, who are the prosecutors on Eric Baker's client? Zepeda?
Mr. Garcia.
Correct. Yes.
I think I'm done.
Yes. No, Mr. Zepeda, you are not done.
Your Honor, am I excused?
Someone will remove you. Just wait, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Zepeda, I'm going to need you to unmute.
There we go.
Court is calling 2015 CR 7848 State of Texas versus Juan Pete Zepeda. If we're going to have parties announced for the record, please, for the state.
Joe Ray Garcia for the state.
For the defense.
Eric Baker from Mr. Zapata, who's present via Zoom, Your Honor.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Zepeda, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you a document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Are you the same Juan Pete Zepeda who was placed on community supervision in 2015 CR 7848 for the offense of assault family second offense on July 18, 2016 for a period of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, it is.
State?
Violated condition number 41 on or about the 9th day of July, 2020. Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Juan Pete Zepeda then failed to comply with the rules and regulations of felony drug court. In that, he failed to appear for court in violation of condition number 41.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State?
The state waives the remaining allegations, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objections.
Mrs. Zepeda, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 41, the court could find it true, grant the motion?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Wait, just one moment.
I'm sorry.
Someone else did this plea. It's from 2017. So I need to find what your underlying.
Could be 5 years, Your Honor.
That's my understanding also.
All right, just one moment. Let me check the judgment. All right, Mrs. Zepeda, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 41, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 5 years in prison and up to a $1,500 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 41?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition number 41 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. Revocation and reform the sentence to 4 years TDC.
All right, this defendant needs to be in the courtroom.
Yes, I did want to address the court on his report date. I do have an agreement with the state subject to the court's approval. If I could be heard on that quickly, briefly, I mean.
All right.
So Judge,
oh,
go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I had talked to the state in reaching this agreement, and one of the things they're okay with, and I'm hoping the court is that Mr. Zepeda be able to report on the 31st. And here's why, Judge. He has, during his timeout, started an auto repair business, which he's there now. It's his. He has 4 clients whose cars are in his shop in a state of being taken apart. And if he goes now and leaves those, he'll get sued. His clients will have they won't be able to get their car back together, their car out. So he just needs the time to finish those repairs. The state's okay with it, so I hope the court would grant him that time to report.
All right, as previously stated, the court is finding violation of condition number 41 true, and this will be recalled for, Norma, can we recall this back for March 31st?
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll come back on March 31st for sentencing.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate that.
All right. And Mr. Zepeda, you need to be we're still on let's go back on the record. Mr. Zepeda, you need to be in the courtroom on March 31st at 9 a.m. You need to unmute. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor. Understood.
It's the 187 District Court. It's 4th floor of the Cadena Reeves Justice Center, 300 De La Rosa, San Antonio, Texas, 78205. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. And you are excused.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Baker, we'll see you back at that time.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate that. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And everyone, we're going to end up taking our break. I'm about to close the breakout rooms.
I just conferred with Oscar. I think it'll be a quick, if you want to. If not, obviously I'll be here either way.
All right, if you guys do the paperwork.
It's not a plea, Judge. It's a PR.
Okay, what is the agreement?
There is no agreement. It's a PR bond application. She looks eligible. 1 family violence dismissed. State is not in agreement because she's got some criminal history. Defense is, I think, requesting that you grant the motion and assess mental health supervision as a condition if she's released. And I believe said that she'll live with her mother if she is released.
Norma, on this, can we come back this afternoon?
Yes, ma'am, I can ask them.
All right, let's see if they can come back this afternoon. It's 12:30. I've started promising staff and everybody that we will be breaking sooner. Ms. Santos, we're going to take care of your case this afternoon. We're going to come back at 2 o'clock. Mr. Jimenez.
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Hutchison, we're going to come back at 2 o'clock. You need to be here at 2.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Judge. I'll see you at 2.
All right. Thank you. Oh, this is what I was saying. Brandon?